Hey guys, what's up? Sermo11 here with my review of episode 1 and episode 2 of OK KO Let's Be Heroes by Ian Jones Quartey, co-executive producer of Steven Universe. Now I thought about including more episodes in this review, but I'm pressed on time, so I'll watch those episodes later and I will just be reviewing the first 2 episodes in this review. So my first impressions of OK KO Let's Be Heroes after the first episode was that it was a solid show. I thought the first episode was good. It had some fun and funny moments. It had a good setup, and overall I just thought it was good. Moving on to my summary and review, the first episode is called Let's Be Heroes. It starts off with our main character KO going to Lakewood Plaza with his mother. The show has a first-person perspective in the beginning scene of the first episode, and I was getting major video game vibes from this scene and some later scenes in the first episode and the second episode. We're seeing things from KO's perspective, so we're learning as he's learning, and again, that's another video game sort of thing. And KO, he wants to become a great hero one day, and he idolizes all the heroes that are in Lakewood Plaza. And once they get to Lakewood Plaza, we're introduced to Mr. Gar, who owns all of Lakewood Plaza, and he appears to be the strongest person in the show so far. His level is 11, and he has a crush on Carol, KO's mother, as they have had some past together. And I was thinking that Mr. Gar could be KO's father. I don't know, it could happen, it might not happen. It's just a possibility. And one thing that I love about this show automatically is that the characters have levels. That's just really cool. KO's level hasn't been shown yet, and I'm sure that was done on purpose. It might be higher than everyone else or something like that, or maybe it'll raise up after, he starts doing more things in Lakewood Plaza. So KO and Carol, they go to Carol's dojo, but KO, he's getting too much attention from Carol's customers, so Carol sends him to get more planks. And one thing that I thought was really cool was that the plaza is just full of heroes. There's so many characters flying around and going to stores and all that. And with KO having a book full of cards of everyone, it really reminded me of how Boruto has a similar card game with all its characters within the universe. They showed off a lot of heroes in this scene, and I was also getting My Hero Academia vibes from this scene, just Lakewood Plaza in general. And KO, he goes to the store is named Gar's, and he ends up buying a lot of battle items and food, but he doesn't buy the planks. And he meets the other main characters, Rad and Enid, and Rad seems to like to brag about himself even though he's not that cool, and Enid doesn't seem to care about her job and just seems lazy. Now, I'm sure there's a lot more to these characters, but at the moment, that's all we really know about these characters. They don't really get that much characterization besides these scenes within the first episode. KO comes off as a foolish anime main character and also a very determined person to achieve their goals, but those are kind of the same thing. And after buying all the items, a Boxman robot comes down. His name is Daryl, and he's one of the children of the villain in OK KO, Mr. Boxman. And there's this awesome action sequence between Daryl and KO, and then we find out that none of this actually happened, and KO actually got knocked out by Daryl immediately. And it was funny. It was funny learning about all this stuff that happened to KO, and I'm kind of glad that KO didn't become strong automatically, or he was already strong. I'd like to see a main character grow, and I don't want them to be completely strong in the beginning. It's cool if they have some qualities of a strong person, but if the main character's strong, what's the point of the show, We don't really get to see a journey there. So it's cool that KO is weak. He's not a hero yet. He has to train. And Mr. Gar, he ends up defeating Daryl, and then after this, KO resolves to become a hero by working at Gar's. And this is a pretty good episode, and the show has an interesting world so far. I just wanted to quickly talk about the intro of the show before moving on to episode 2, and the intro was probably meant to look like a 90s show or be similar to something like that. Maybe the 80s, I don't know about all those eras and all that. I'm not exactly sure. The intro sounds alright, it's not bad or anything, and it's also animated well, but the simplistic art style, the simplistic animation style, it looks weird with so much going on in the intro. Episode 2, Let's Be Friends, starts off where episode 1 left off, and seriously, this could have been a half-hour episode. I'm not sure why it wasn't a half-hour episode. In this episode, we learn more about Mr. Boxman, the main villain for the show, and I like the fact that he has a normal voice. Some villains in cartoons have over-the-top voices, but he just sounds like a normal guy. He just happens to be evil. And Mr. Boxman is upset over Daryl's performance, and he melts his head. We also learn how friendship ruins Mr. Boxman's company, and that's what he's really upset over, and that's what he's trying to get rid of. He's trying to get rid of friendship and all that. And this really reminded me of what happened in the Comic-Con panel for Lakewood Plaza. I said Lakewood Plaza, that's the old name of the show. OKKO, Let's Be Heroes. When someone asked Ian if OKKO would have a plot like Steven Universe or be slice of life like We Bare Bears. And Ian said a little bit of both and said there is an overarching plot. The story will go places, but he also said, I don't understand why you would take the story seriously. So that sounds okay. It sounds okay, KO. No, but it sounds okay. I personally prefer stories in my cartoons. It's just something that's more common these days, and it actually improves the quality of a cartoon instead of having an episodic cartoon, but it's fine. I just kind of wish the story was handled a little bit more seriously, because friendship is a cliche, but it's one that's not really funny if you make fun of it, and it's a little too silly to take seriously, but maybe, you know, that's what Ian was trying to say. And I personally think he could have chosen something better, but it's not my show. The show's been good so far, so I don't really think it's good to judge him on that, because like, even though the show is about some villain trying to stop friendship, or that's one of the elements in the story, it's still a very good show so far. And another Daryl is made, and Mr. Boxman sends out another robot, another one of his children. He sends out Shannon to Lakewood Plaza, and I'm getting Robot Master vibes from Mega Man or Bowser's Koopalings from Mario. That's what Mr. Boxman's children seem like. And back at Lakewood, KO bothers Rad and Enid, so he has to leave. And Shannon runs into KO and gives him the idea of defeating Lord Boxman to impress the others. KO does get into Mr. Boxman's store very easily, and he ends up getting kidnapped by Lord Boxman, and Enid and Rad come to rescue him, and they end up becoming friends. And I like the fact that KO met the villain right away. This wasn't something that took a very long time. And then Carol ends up helping KO get a job at Gars, and this is really where the story really starts in Lakewood Plaza. And at the end, KO, he shoots up a fist blast into the sky, and it's implied that he's stronger than he appears, as he wasn't even aware of him using this attack or whatever that was, because it really isn't explained. And I pretty much said what I wanted to say about the show. Ian kind of downplayed the plot of the show. It's interesting so far, but that could be because these are the first 2 episodes of the show, and some cartoons have plot in the first few episodes and then they start to go episodic. So far, I like what I see. I think there's a bigger threat out there than Mr. Boxman. He feels like a joke villain, and I'm sure there are plenty of fun things to do in the plaza, but right now the world feels small with the villain comedically living across the street or working across the street. And I like the hero concept, and I like the action so far. And even if the plot isn't too crazy, action can make up for that. I'd love to see some sort of tournament in the future in the show, and I also like the fact that the characters have power levels. So, what did you guys think about OKKO Let's Be Heroes? Anyways, that's it for me. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like my content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and like me on Facebook. The links are below. I'm Surma11. See you next time, and peace out.